Welcome everybody to this West Brattleboro Economic Development Forum. My name is Michael Bosworth. I'm the president of the board of the West Brattleboro Association. And we will get to introductions in a moment. Just a few things. I wanted to thank John McPherson in the back, who's the property manager for this building. He's walking in the back there. The ladies use this room.
Nice and warm. Thank you.
And we can use the restrooms, right, John? Yes. Just out through the doorway here and to the right a little bit. You need to do that. And please help yourself to, we have some cider, we have some juice, we have some cheese and crackers, so help yourself at any time. Please feel free to get up at any time. In a second, we'll have these people introduce themselves. You may know who they are. The bulk of the meeting I really want to set aside for you in the audience to talk about your businesses and concerns you have. Before that, I will just start by having people introduce themselves. So, we'll start on this side. And at this point, they'll just be introducing themselves. Later on, around 6 o'clock, they will be able to say something about what programs their particular organization has to offer to businesses in West Brattleboro. So, Peter.
I'm Peter Alwell, and I'm your town manager.
I'm Susan McMahon, the Associate Director at the Windham Regional Commission, your Regional Planning Commission.
Adam Grimaldi, I'm the Director of the Brattleboro Credit Corporation.
I'm Jody Clark, and I'm the Project Manager for Southeastern Vermont Economic Development Strategies, otherwise known as SEVETS.
Robin Sweetapple, I work with the BDCC, and I'm the Director of Operations there.
I'm Kate O'Connor, the Executive Director of the Brattleboro Area Chamber of Commerce.
And we'll have people in the audience introduce themselves in just a couple minutes. Laura, you want to?
I'm Laura Sevilla. I'm the Director of Economic Development for BDCC, and I'm on a partial leave of absence serving the legislature. I'm working closely with Jody and Adam on getting our SEDS done and implementing all of our projects that we've been working on.
Well, thank you actually for everybody for coming. This makes it a lot richer event when we have people who have access to resources here. Thank you for coming here. I just wanted to point out a few things just to set a context before we get into the concerns or any issues the businesses want to bring up. And if you picked up an agenda in the back, you can see there's some data there that is of some use, I think. Part of the data was taken from the town's online business directory. So out there is data on every business that has gotten a license, which should be all businesses. So every business that said it was okay with them to be listed, they could have a choice and not be listed. So all the businesses that are fine with being listed are out there. So what we have is just one page showing what kind of businesses they are after the agenda page. This looks like this chart. So every business can also say what kind of business they sort of self-select themselves to be. And if you look at that, these are West Brattleboro businesses. More businesses than anybody else. They call themselves professional services, so they're self-selecting themselves as professional services. So after that, we have retail businesses, and the arts would be in third place, and so forth for all the other categories. So it gives you some idea of what we're talking about when we talk about West Brattleboro businesses. Now, out there on that database is about 200 different businesses listed that are west of Interstate 91 and north of the West River, basically. So some people don't think of that strictly as West Brattleboro, if you include Route 30, but it's still the rural part of Brattleboro. So there's 200 plus businesses out there in this database. And we tried to get information out to as many businesses as we could to answer our small survey, our online survey. It had 6 questions to it. So the next 6 pages, the 3 double-sided double-sided pages give you an idea about how people responded to those questions. The first was, how wide is the market for your products or services? And the biggest response was people saying that their market is global, which is probably partly an indication that people do a lot of business on the internet, I would guess, and find ways to do that. Secondly is businesses who are just serving people within the 3-county area, which is something you might more historically think of businesses doing in this area. Second question, what is the size of your business in terms of employment? The biggest response was just a single entrepreneur. This is also an indication they made the businesses are home businesses, working out of their home, some of them internet-based businesses. But there are also some who work with themselves and one other person in their household, and then some that do have employees. And a couple, we're talking about West Brattleboro, people I think realize that there aren't a lot of large businesses in West Brattleboro, but there are a couple who employ 25 or more, either part-time or full-time employees. So there are a couple of those out here. And the question 3, what are your goals for your business? And they could check as many as they wished. Increased income, you would think a business would want to do that. Improve society actually came in second, so we have a lot of businesses that are thinking beyond themselves. Increase employees and improve the environment. So very interesting responses there. And then question 4, how can local economic development organizations most help? And that's why they're here tonight. Around 6 o'clock or so, they'll let people know how they can help. But advertise and promote the region was the #1 response that people gave. But there are other important things that these agencies offer as well. Business loans, entrepreneurial training, and training for the workforce, training in business skills. So all these are important to small businesses who answered this survey. And question 5, when you most need financing, where are you most likely to turn? Family and friends came in #1. People had other responses, but a local bank came in #2, behind the family and friends, and so forth. And I think some businesses don't realize all the possible places where they could go for some funding. And the last of the 6 questions was Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation helps with an internship program, and asked how many businesses would be interested in having an intern. And 11 of the 27 that answered the question said yes, they would, and we'll be able to feed the actual names of those businesses who are interested in that service. And question number 7, you see a missing page 7. That had nothing to do but except contact information, a summary of contact information. Any questions? The other thing I want to point out, there's a map over on the wall. That's a map of all of Brattleboro, and that came from Jeff Nugent at the Windham Regional Commission, and it was done for part of the Vermont Economic Resiliency Initiative. And it is, again, based on the Brattleboro Online Business Directory. It actually places the businesses based on their location. So you'll see, you notice Interstate 91, sort of that line around downtown Brattleboro. And when people think about West Brattleboro, I think they often think in terms of Route 9, but it really gives a much more complete picture of businesses that are really out in the different areas off of Route 9. Probably a number of them, again, home businesses, but also farms, forestry businesses, construction businesses, etc. So it gives you an idea of the dispersion that we have out here. Any questions about that quick sort of context setting? Yes, Valerie?
I feel like you got a pretty good representative across cross-sampling of the businesses in West Brattleboro? I don't know if you could remark on a sense of that or not.
I don't really know for sure.
Yeah.
You know, people didn't have to say who they were. It was
Okay.
voluntary.
Perfect.
And although we had a list of a little bit more than 200 businesses, we only had email addresses for maybe 110, 115. So this is the 30 response, which is not too bad, but still, it's not obviously representative of all the businesses. So I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? So what I'd like to do now is set aside at least half an hour for businesses in the room to introduce themselves, ask questions, bring up issues. If you want to complain, do it in a humane manner. But we have people in the room who could have some answers or would be good listeners. So anybody in particular want to start that off?
I'll start.
Okay, Adam.
I wear many hats. I'm Adam Silver. I'm Executive Director of the Asian Cultural Center of Vermont, incorporated in 2006. And we just had a Lunar New Year Festival. I'm an operations manager for a size dim sum tea house, a DBA of CX Silver Gallery, and now we publish also. And that's the three businesses I manage in this area. And I have things very separated. I did my homework. The nonprofit has its own stuff, and the for-profits have their own stuff. And we pretty much we've had some years where we've gotten funding for the Asian Cultural Center and some things. It just depends because it's still basically a volunteer organization, so one does have to make a living. So when I get more time to actually get grants, I'll do that. And, you know, it'd be nice to get some operations funding. I got some funding from Vermont Community Foundation in the past, Vermont Department of Tourism, Vermont Arts Council.
Any questions or for the?
No, it's just nice to meet everybody. Some of us know each other. Welcome anytime. We have a business model which is by appointment. It works.
I'm Doug Cox. I'm a violin maker with a home and studio on Sunset Lake Road. Been there for close to 30 years at this point. I have one full-time employee besides myself, and I have a national and occasionally sort of global business and clientele. Things that have been important to me is I try to work pretty heavily on the Vermont brand as a sign of quality and integrity. And the recognizability of Brattleboro, the fact that I am in Brattleboro, I want to work for me. So I want the reputation of this community for innovation, integrity, high quality to be widely known. That's very helpful. As I get older and travel less, I'm trying to get more of my clients to come here. And I'm concerned that as they arrive here, that as they drive through West Brattleboro, they feel this is a community that is thriving, that is strong, that is an interesting place. And yes, I would be happy to leave several $1,000s here in this community because it feels good. So concerned about the design standards that have been considered for the Route 9 corridor here. The way that affects my business is that I want there to be a sense of quality. I want there to be a sense of security, of happy well-being within the community. I'll say something about the importance of economic development. The West Brattleboro strategic plan process that was done, is it 10 years ago at this point? Or
3 months was
just,
when we were
pretty
doing
close,
it.
something like that. It was very interesting looking at the things that people in West Brattleboro want for their community and how much we can't do because we just don't have the money. So that having a community that is economically strong is going to lead to better quality of life. So that became fairly clear in that process. I'll say just a little bit, I don't see anyone else probably prepared to speak for Brattleboro West Arts. That many of those dots, as the survey has pointed out, are people working in the arts. And there is an organization in West Brattleboro, continuing up into Marlboro, of people who work in the arts. And we did a straw survey of our membership, I guess maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. And at that point, the income of people from the arts was, in this group, was around about $1 million, probably a little bit more than that. And the interesting thing was that 80% of that came from outside of the area. This is also borne out in the business survey statistics, but the arts as an economic import business, that we have people who are living here, who are producing a product that's sold nationally and globally and brings money into the area. Many of the artists are small businesses, mostly home businesses where you don't see them on the street. But they are significant contributors to the economy. What we found that it's very helpful to have, to provide a forum for peer support. The best support for someone working in an industry is someone who's also working in that industry. So that peer support has been very helpful. But generally, people who are working in the arts are not particularly good in business. So one of the challenges is how do we help each other be better at the things that turn our passion into money that goes into our pockets and from our pockets into the rest of the community. So I think ways in which the economic development community can help small entrepreneurs who may not be economically savvy or economically inclined, it isn't in their genes to be able to do this. How do we find ways to help them succeed as a community? So.
I'm Tom French. I've been an attorney in West Brattleboro now for 36 years and in the community for 49 years. My practice has been literally all over the world. I like to say that I've had a client from at least every continent except Antarctica so far. And I'm still around, so if the Penguins want to maintain a class action, I'm available. In any event, my practice is, well, it's international, but it's, and predominantly it's from outside the community, actually. I would estimate that my income probably comes, at least 3/4 of it comes from outside the community, maybe 4/5. And I would have loved to have developed a more local practice, but it just hasn't come that way for whatever reason. But in any event, I've always been active in trying to promote the community and trying to promote economic development here, because we all hope to be more prosperous. And but as of right now, I'm nearing the age of retirement, so probably what personally it probably is immaterial what direction we go, but I would like to see the community thrive, and it seems to me right now that it's probably not as good as it's been in the past. there seems to be less economic activity, and so we want to do whatever we can to promote what we can when we can.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
I'm Betty Fry. I live in the town of Guilford. I don't have a business here in West Bay, but I go to these kinds of events. I like to see what is happening. And I went to the original one. I feel like it was more than 10 years ago.
Originally, it was probably about 10 and a half, not much more. And I think less than 11, yeah.
And that was so well attended, so well done. And I guess there's two things about West B that I think are just really important for the whole region, from my perspective. And one of them really is really supporting tourism and all that that means. It's a gateway for other places. And since the first job I ever had when I came to Brattleboro in '73 was I worked for the senior center. I was an outreach worker, 21. I'm going to be 64 now. I'm going to be one of those seniors. I can't believe it. And I worry about that we're not there as much as a cool place for being elderly. And that's a big thing. I'll leave it at that.
I'm Nancy Barber. I live in West Brattleboro. I'm a past trustee of the West Brattleboro Association. I come like Betty to hear about the businesses in West Brattleboro that I don't commonly have contact with. I feel very strongly, as Doug does too, about community, and as Betty does too, about senior housing. I'm very aware that the kinds of housing that would most benefit me at 67 are what's in Townsend, West Townsend, but there's not any down here. And if I were to be an advocate for anything in West Brattleboro or in Brattleboro in general, it would be for housing, for senior housing that is both assisted living. I guess what's in West Townsend back up. I'm not interested in having a multi-million-dollar development excuse me, coming into town. I am interested in having living facilities here that would keep me active, would enable me to be in the community and to make a contribution of sorts to the community. I think it's a great mistake that these, oh, thank you. It's a great mistake that in a town like Brattleboro, that is really a wonderful place to live, has no facility such as I'm describing. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be 3 or 4 stories with a small apartment. It's where someone can live and walk in the community and perhaps have bus service available. So that's my pipe dream. That's my pipe dream for West Brattleboro, or even for Brattleboro in general. I think that we would do very well, because a lot of us, have hair like this, and I think that it's looming on the horizon, if you will, that no development of that sort, that I know of anyway, is in this area. Thanks.
I'm Bob Everingham. I run a small tree care company here in West Brattleboro, and I'm in desperate need of entrepreneurial training. I know that there's a contest coming up. I'm excited to take advantage of that. I guess on a more personal note, living in West Brattleboro can make a big difference to have like a bike lane between our place near Sunset Lake Road and Memorial Park. That would make a big difference in the quality of our kids' life. And I'm not going to be able to be here till 7. I'll be leaving early, but I'll maybe take a quarter or something. But thanks for being here.
I'm Jennifer Jacobs, and I run a small employee assistance program service that's, I guess, in West Brattleboro. Now that I hear the description of it, it's by Memorial Park, where my office is. But so we're together. We live in West Brattleboro, and so as I think I'm more here as a resident of West Brattleboro that, as Bob said, bike lane, just thinking family-oriented. We're like on the other end of the continuum, thinking of family-oriented ways to make this a vibrant community for our son to grow up in, for us to have a family in. And I actually grew up on Bonnievale, almost in the West Brattleboro side of Bonnievale, and so I remember, I think as you were saying, back at a time when it was felt more vibrant, and maybe I'm just nostalgic. I remember Stockwell's, and I feel like there was this sense of community then that I'm not sure is there now, even though I'm very pleased and proud to live in West Brattleboro. So I don't have something specific that I'm after. It's a very, sort of intangible that I would like to see the community grow and develop its own identity and feel like a really vibrant place.
My name is Helen Robb, and my husband and I and our son and daughter-in-law own the Robb family farm on Ainsdale in West Brattleboro. We're out 3 miles from Route 9, and we have primarily, back in 2012, we sold all of our cows, and so we were a dairy farm at that time. We now do beef, animals, and maple. We've ramped up our maple production, and we do all of the maple products as well. And it's interesting where we live because during mud season we don't get any business. So, and the other interesting part is that the majority of our business we're doing, our sales, is in New Hampshire, which
is very business friendly.
Yeah. And which is kind of interesting as far as we're concerned. I guess, well, I'll let my husband.
Well, I just say we've got to grow our whole real estate business here in Brattleboro to pay our taxes, and I feel that's part of our problem here. The taxes are so high. We've got to get businesses here. Some good, strong here in West Brattleboro would be wonderful. I mean, here on Longwood.
Done in a controlled
manner. And I feel that I know as a farmer I help keep the aesthetics here in West Brattleboro, but that's a small portion.
Well, we've been here since 1907, so we've got a little history of West Brattleboro. When I think about Stockwell Store, I'm thinking Ciders down, and there was a lot of
yeah, Jones's before that.
That's all.
I'm Carol Levin, and I lived in West Brattleboro from 1974 to 1980, or 79, and since 79, the end of 79, till now, I still live in Guilford. I was involved with the barn behind the Chelsea Royal Diner as the Chelsea House Folklore Center from 74 to 81. And then worked with my husband in Guilford with his business. But after he passed away in 2012, a colleague of his, Dave Bonta, badgered me about opening. He was the sort of creator of the solar store concept, and he has his hand in a number of solar stores throughout the Northeast. And actually there's a couple in Florida now, but he wanted me to be involved with him about opening a solar store in West Brattleboro, and we did in 2013. At the end of 2013, we opened. So 2014, we were open a full year, and now we're on our next year after that. We opened in September 2013. And our business is growing, but I think that's also part of the whole culture of solar is growing. And that's what my husband did for 30 years was, we had Sunnyside Solar, but Sunnyside Solar Incorporated was in Guilford, and then with Dave, we transformed to Sunnyside Solar Store, which is in the barn behind the Chelsea Road Diner. And we're small and we're still growing, and we're not sure quite where it's going to go, but we think a lot of it has the growth this past year has to do with the impact of the sensitivity. And I heard a figure from somebody the other day, or earlier this week, or last week, I can't remember now, but that said 45% of the electricity in Vermont is 45% is from renewables, and that's hydro, wind, and solar, and maybe some biomass. But and that's huge. That's way. I don't think the United States is up to 1% yet. So we're way ahead of the scale here, and we're involved in that. So that's what we do.
My name's Amelia Kinney, and I have a business called Favor Your Feet Reflexology. It's a hand and foot reflexology business. I have a home office. I have clients from all over the world, but mostly from Mass, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And I've been in business 7 years.
So I'm John McPherson. I'm managing this building for some investors who I sold the building to in July of 2013. When I say the building, it's 55 Marlborough Road. It was subdivided from this building back here, which used to be Howard O'Brien's equipment shed. Now is Tim Hunt's first choice communication. So the building is 33,000 square feet, and it was designed and built by Pat Vecchio. I don't know if anybody remembers that name. And his concept was to have retail stores. It was quite a lot fancier when it was first built with skylights and all this kind of thing. Factory outlets, I guess, and he spent a lot of money on consultants to develop that concept, built the building, and the concept failed. So over time, it kind of morphed into space that was then converted to office space. Liberty Mutual was here for a number of years. CNS Warehouse purchasing offices were here. And then it went through a couple of iterations. John Williams ended up owning it. These owners bought it from John. But I think the central concept that John evolved when he was the owner is that to attract a mix of tenants who can utilize the building for a number of purposes. We actually have there are two churches here. There's Healing Grace Ministry, and then there's the Light of Salvation, which is a Latino church on the far end. Lincare, which is a healthcare provider of products for people who are at home and need oxygen and that kind of thing. Central Appliance, which I'm sure everybody knows. Optional Power, which is Ed Lamoureux and Joseph Magnan, and Ed is an electrician, but they sell generators. They essentially package a generator product. You know, you go into a house, determine what size you need, order the right appropriate device and all that kind of thing, install it. They're doing actually quite well. Spirited Threads, which is a little decorator outfit, moved from a little tiny office over to a larger office, and she seems to be doing quite well. Lissa Stark is just going to be opening her yoga studio right next door here, March 1st. Vermont Vinyl is in the back. I think I'm probably missing somebody, but that's the idea. Retail businesses, professional offices, service providers, etc. I'd finish by making one comment about this. I mean, I see somebody mentioned West Brattleboro. I mean, West Brattleboro is a village, but you also have this commercial stretch, or what's become a commercial stretch here, which is a road to Bennington or Wilmington or what have you for the people who use it. I think one of the reasons that Pat Vecchio's concept failed is because once somebody gets off the highway and they're headed somewhere, they don't stop. It's not a destination to them. So they'll go by, but maybe they'll stop back on a Sunday afternoon. I think the merchants and even all of the professional businesses and artists and whatever who are located here would benefit from having some sort of a magnet, whether it be food, art, products, crafts or something like that. And right now the Country Kitchen building makes it's a mattress outlet, but originally the Country Kitchen and the barn next door, which is American Traders. Both of those are on the market, so together that's it's about 5 acres and quite a lot of floor space. Has a lot of frontage and would be it's easy to get into and out of. And I think the West Brattleboro Association and associated folks should think about how to harness that as a useful facility to house different businesses, but essentially to get people to stop. Like Grafton Cheese is tends to be, and the deli tends to be a place where people who come here on weekends or for a weekend stop and buy things. I could go on, but I can still let it be done.
So are we hearing from businesses first? I want to make sure I'm not.
Right, yes, we are, Becca. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
So. Christian Stromberg. I own Saxton's River Distillery, which is actually 130 former Tom and Sally's, which somehow isn't on that map. I've been there 4 years. I also happen to just move to New England Drive, so I have a personal interest in seeing cool restaurants and things for me to go this way, because going to the left out of Orchard Street is a nightmare. And one of my interests is we're running out of space where we are. Fulcrum Arts bought the building. They have most of it. They're filling it out quite nicely. And now that I've grown, 3,000 square feet isn't enough. So as I look, where am I going to go? I have a retail store. I have a tasting room. I like to think we're a small destination. I like to be a bigger destination. So Route 9 works. One of the critical things about a distillery is it can't be in a flood zone because they flood. And one of the things with TTB, who's the overseeing body, it's not part of ATF anymore, is they want to secure the revenue. It's all about revenue. And if all the bonded booze goes washing down a stream, that's lost revenue. That's bad. And if it's my booze, that's bad. So as far as what I'm interested, I want to be in a visible place, lots of cool things going on, and we don't get flooded. Which, having moved to where I did, we got lucky because a number of the places I looked in Windham County did flood. So I got, cross my fingers, I got lucky on that. Anyway, we're looking around and interested in, I want to be even closer to what walk, or bike if you go by.
I'm Melissa Stark. I'm soon to open Stark Naturals Yoga right over here in this building, hopefully in a week or two. Formerly from this area, I was born and raised here. I moved away for a little while. I'm just over in Bennington, but I'm looking to get back here. My family's all still here, and I'm hoping to raise my son here. He's 5. So I'm just over in Bennington, so I'm hoping to, actually get moving back this way, but I, of course, remember how it used to be and how, I like that. I remember that, and that was a good community to grow up in. Right now I'm focused on, spreading the word, so.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Joanna Reuter. I have a business called Sustainable Aging, which is about looking at end-of-life wishes long before the end of life. And hopefully everyone will do that from who's an adult eventually. But right now, 55 and over is the focus. I was living in, I came to Marlboro, Brattleboro 26 years ago and dug up iris over there on the other side of the dollar store before they built that area. Oh. They were growing and dig them up because they're going to be plowed under a long time ago. Have moved back to West Brat just this year, and basically I'm a West Brat person now, solidly, forever, I think, however long that lasts. And as far as my focus, it's to have all businesses, organizations, community do this advanced care planning so that end of life looks better. There.
I'm Judy Daly. Grew up not quite in West Brattleboro, just on the other side of the highway, but my husband Bill and I own the Vermont Country Deli since fall of 2007, and I'm excited to be a part of Westby's community. Remember Stockwells and Ziders and the park and all the great things everybody's been mentioning tonight, and definitely would be great to have more of a sense of community within the village and businesses prosper. We are working really hard at the deli. Obviously had a big project this past year and a half, and I like to think that we've started making a nice gateway to Westby by eliminating the gas station and building our nice market. So we employ about 40 people at the deli and another half a dozen at the market. Probably one of our biggest challenges is finding good help. That's something that has been a challenge consistently for us. That's one area that I think that would be great to have some assistance in. I know Bill will speak to other things.
When we started, we had 25 employees, and we've expanded to 40. So head count, not FTE, but
yes, that's it.
And then we've expanded out to Mount Snow and some other things. I think the area needs to have more entrepreneurs and try to attract more entrepreneurs. That's the only way we're going to grow around here. With Vermont Yankee going, and there's quite a big dent that's coming in. I think it's going to get to about 15% of our segment of that business, of our segment within our business. That's going to hurt. In the state, looking at, well, last year they increased the minimum wage, which is 5% increase in some of the salaries. There's talk of a 7/10% payroll tax, which is going to hurt. We've got property taxes going up, which is hurt. And there's no end in sight from the government saying we're going to do this, this, and this. I think they also have a sick leave bill that's going through that I think everybody right now has the sick leave within their businesses, so I don't think it's appropriate. When you look at wages, it's hours times dollars. And when you do that, there's only you can't bend the supply and demand curves. So, you know, it's very difficult to bring on additional people when you're trying to supply. You know, your demand is only so much. You know, we've been trying to promote the area. I think we've also been trying to, you know, I've been talking with Kathy, trying to put an information center in there. Trying to, my daughter, I brought my daughter and my wife on here. My daughter is running a market, but I think there's good opportunities here for everybody. I think it's more, you know, let things lay and let them expand a little bit in here and try to get and promote more businesses into the area by reducing the red tape, I guess, I'll put it, to get them to come in. You know, we've got wonderful Vermont products, we've got wonderful people in the area, wonderful cultures, and I think if you let them develop, it will, you know, people will come and people will develop more there. So that's my soapbox. I'm sorry.
My name is Jessica Cole. I just moved to the area back in May, but I grew up going to the park, visiting my grandma, learning to ski at the park. My husband and I live up on Pleasant Valley Road, so we're in Westby, and I've been running the market. I've been working with the state to become an official, they have this Ambassador Welcome Center program. So we finished all of our requirements, so now we're just waiting for the state to get back to us with our official status. But I am new to the area, and so customers are always looking for the special Vermont touch. And so please stop by, let me know what I can tell them about the business.
She carries the Rob Farm syrup.
I was going to say, they carry local products.
Yeah. Bring in a lot of outside money, too, they do.
Ms. Elena?
Sure. Okay. Just taking notes on what you said. I want to be able to see people. My name is Lucelena Mori, and I am the founder and director of Mahalo Art Center. And we are kind of tucked behind the Jeremiah Beale House. So we are a 501c3. And I have notes because there's so much to share with you. I know many of you might not even know that we exist. Okay, so we offer educational, artistic, and therapeutic programs. And our programs are exploring really the frontiers of what is personal wellness and what is communal wellness. We work with well-being, and the programs focus on what is it to be present. So what is quality of presence, and what is it to be creative? Very interested in creating culture. So our programs help people connect with nature, slow down, and using different artistic techniques, different therapeutic techniques, very modern modalities, and very ancient modalities like yoga and many others. The exploration at Mahalo Art Center is what is it to be here, what is it to be fully awake and present and creating. So the idea of entrepreneurs, I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was born, because my mother told me, you can do whatever you want. And when you have a mother that tells you you can do whatever you want, it shaped me. And what I realized growing up when I was working with a lot of children is that not all children have that carte blanche. Not all children feel like the sky's the limit. And I realized it's very important to know that the sky is the limit. And so that's a lot of what the programs are exploring in a good relationship with the earth and in a good relationship with the mystery, not knowing. It's not this is the way. Oftentimes it happens in a very surprising way, but intention is very, very important. And I've been very impressed with the quality of people I've met in Brattleboro who are, yes, of course, intention. And so there's a lot of creative people here, right? So let's see what else we're missing here. The people who come and do our programs, all over the country, people fly over to do our programs. Last summer, we had participants coming from California, Missouri, Michigan, Maryland, New Jersey, and then we've had people from North Carolina, and they come to Brattleboro to do our programs with different presenters, and of course local people as well. Let's see. Now we work with different ages, so babies, children, teens, adults, elders, because this commitment to explore personal wellness and communal wellness, that involves all ages. So you can't do that just with one age. So it's a very exciting adventure that we're on. And I call it an adventure because I think that with Mahalo Art Center, the logo says creating reality from the inside out. But when you're creating reality from the inside out, you don't know what's coming out. It's like when you know that you're having a baby, the baby's going to come out, but you really don't know anything about this being. You're going to be surprised if you're a good parent. You're going to be very surprised. And you're going to continue being surprised. So that's kind of what's happening at Mahalo Art Center is like, wow, I see what's going on here. It's been discovered as it's been evolving. So it's very exciting. I mean, you're all welcome to come and visit, but that brings me to the challenge. We have no road frontage. So if you look up Google Maps or GPS, if you try to get to Mahalo Art Center, you cannot get to us. And I say that and I feel pain in my heart when I say that, because we have had some exquisite programs. Like we've had sitar concerts, we've had a 3-day music festival, we've had theatrical presentations, music, just really cutting-edge expressive arts presentations, and as distinct from programs. Like really, this is a gift to the public, whoever can get here, and people get lost. So I've begun speaking with Brian Bannon and different people and neighbors and the Beale House to brainstorm how to get people to our property. I spoke with your father years ago, and so it's just been a very slow process because there's so much to do and so much to juggle. So another one of our challenges is with the administration of it. And I have had administrative assistants who specialize in nonprofit, but it's a faith walk. So there are people on board. There's the board of directors, which is great, and people doing website and marketing and bookkeeping. But that's a place where the Mahalo Art Center and myself separately need support in that and the ingresses. And then, separately, I have my own business. So Mahalo Art Center as a 501c3, I am not on the board. I am the founder and executive director, but this is an entity in and of itself. And then personally, I'm a therapist. And people that I work with from all over the country, by phone, in person, people drive for hours to work with me, and I help people to get very clear on what is going on. And we do it fairly fast with different techniques. I help people when there are challenges behaviorally, negative patterns emotionally, negative patterns mentally. We can be done with that in relatively short work, except if it's very severe. And then the two other things are working with strengths, embodying who you really are in a strong way, and vision and action. So again, entrepreneurial thing. If you have an idea, do it. If you have a really exciting, beautiful idea, you're not meant to sit on it. So that's my personal practice. And then there's Mahalo Art Center, so I'm representing them both this evening. I'm very eager to hear what you have to offer. And I'm very thankful for those of you who have said, I've been here my whole life and I miss how it was. I'm very thankful that you have given a welcome to people like myself who did not grow up here. I do have beautiful memories of the neighborhood that I grew up in, the warmth and the intimacy and the communal support. So I know that I feel that, I've felt it, I would like to have that happen in West Brattleboro. I'd like to help. I don't make it to all of these meetings, but feel free to call me when you really want me to. It sounded like this was an important meeting, so I came. So thank you all, and may this continue to blossom. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Lucinda. So we're about 10 minutes off, not too far. David, did you want to say anything quickly about your own business, or just yours?
No, just briefly. Yeah, I'm Dave Scholes. I make wood products, and almost all of my sales are at the farmers market. And before I was a vendor there, I was the manager there. We also are in the process of taking down a lovely gas station and creating something beautiful. Very interested in making that stretch more appealing. Actually, making all of the design more appealing, but particularly that stretch. Tourists are a big part of our business. And the farmers market on 26 Saturdays generates over $600,000 of income in the community, so it's not insignificant. And hopefully there'll be some activity there during midweek as well, and now that we control that roadside property. I'm also a parent. My wife and I have a 16-year-old who's just beginning to look around and think about what her future might be. And it would be really nice if there were lots of opportunities here for her to explore. And I'm also on the select board, and one of the things that I recently asked Peter to do is, and it wasn't my idea, I have to give credit to Tristan Tolino, he actually came up with it, to look at the over $400,000 that we have available for community, for business grants, for small business grants, and see which, or how much of that might be available, that we have available for loans, to see how much of it might be available, how much we can legally use for grants, so that we could actually support community businesses that we want to expand or needed some help in relocating here. That's why I'm here. I'm also, it's my week to cook, and my wife is sick, so I'm going to have to leave pretty soon.
Well, thank you very much, all the businesses. So now we're going to transition to the point where, the place where each of the entities up here say what kind of programs they have that might match some of the things you brought up, and also answer other of your questions. A couple of people came in late. Senator Becca Belinda in the back, and Representative Valerie Stewart. Laura was already here, Laura Sibilia. So I guess we'll just take it left to right. Chamber, Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, Windham Regional Commission, Town of Brattleboro. And don't forget to have some food. I'm going to model good behavior by getting a donut.
Are you ready? Ready? Again, I'm Kate with the Brattleboro Chamber of Commerce, and I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of what we are, and then also will tell you what we do. With Brattleboro area, so we don't still do Brattleboro, we do surrounding communities. Some of them are in New Hampshire, surrounding towns. We are a membership organization. We have about 500 members. They span all kinds, from businesses, retail businesses, hospitality businesses. We have some arts organizations, a lot of social service organizations. We have lawyers and doctors, construction workers. So it's a wide range of really what the community represents. And as this graph that we have shows, a lot of them, most of them are small businesses. We have the GS Precisions, but we also have the one-person businesses or five-person businesses. So we have an eclectic group. as you were talking, I was writing down what you need and what we can do. One of the things, we sort of have two arms of the chamber, which is tourism and then business, more traditional businesses. And what we do advertising and promotion. We do it not only for tourists, to get people to come from out of state to come here, or from surrounding areas to come here. What we try to do is make people understand, if you're a business here, support a business here, and make those connections. I think people need to understand there's an interconnection. One of the things when people come in, I'm looking at Tom, because when people come into our office and say, hey, I'm moving here to Brattleboro, we say, when you move, what do you need? Do you want to buy a house? What do the local real estate agents need? To buy a house, you need a lawyer, or you're going to need a doctor. So we promote. We send people down to Saxon River Distillery a lot. So they will come in and say, where should we go? So we promote that way too. So it's tourists and to locals and to people that are moving here. We try to make those connections. One of the things in that same vein is getting people to network, because sometimes it's very amazing to us, sometimes that people in this area, even in the business community, don't know that somebody else is doing something that could be helpful to them. So we're putting more networking opportunities together, because it seems really obvious, but it isn't sometimes, that people really don't know that they can, work together, whether it's a hotel, in a special event. We try to get the ski jump to realize, hey, when people come here, what do they need to do? They need a place to stay and they need a place to eat. So we're really trying to make more of those connections. We do a lot of referrals for our members. We get about, I shouldn't even guess how many, but we have a lot of people that call our office, visit our office, and they want to know, you name it, they want to know it, and we try to send them around. So we try to be a support system for the business community. We don't have the money, we don't have a bank of money that we can come and hand you, although we would love to. But we try to support, advocate. We've done a lot of, Bill was just talking about the payroll tax, the minimum wage. We try to be an advocate for the business community, because that's a big deal when somebody wants to come here and set up a business. They need to feel like it's a climate, and we try to listen to our members, and we're doing a lot more advocating on the state level for our business community. So we have a wide range of things that we can do if you want to join us. And before I forget, I'm going to give a shout out to the West Brattleboro Association. I meant to do this in the beginning. The Chamber had our annual meeting the other day, and we gave a special recognition award to the West Brattleboro Association, because Michael and everybody who's involved in it has done such a great job, and we think that people outside of West Brattleboro need to know what you folks do, because I think you're a model of what people can do if they get together and work together. And that's another thing the Chamber wants to support organizations like yourself, because it really is the community that makes the community thrive. So we can do a lot. Basically, we can do everything to help you except give you money.
Thank you, Kate.
Adam, do you want to?
Sure, yeah. So as I said earlier, my name is Adam Grinold. I'm the new director at the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation. I'm on my third month, so eventually I'll be able to drop the new part of the title. Just wanted to also give a shout out to Michael and thank him for having us here and work with you on tonight. And it's good to have our regional partners, local partners. Really this does take everybody's efforts to work on projects such as what you have before you. My background is I live in Wilmington. Ran my family's business there for about 15 years, celebrating my 16th year in business with my wife in our restaurant, Wahoo's Eatery. So if you go over the hill in the summer, you'll probably know that. So my work experience before that is, or most recently, is in Chamber of Commerce. I was the director of the Mount Snow Valley Chamber for 2.5 years, and then as a contract position for Wilmington Works, which was their newly created downtown designation for Wilmington for the last 8 months before joining the BDCC. That most recent job really, I think, can connect strongly with what you folks are looking at doing here. And I heard a lot about loss of community and vibrancy and what you'd like it to look like. And you know, I'm sure everyone in this room knows what Wilmington went through following the flood. We had zero vibrancy. We had lost our community, or the potential to. Really what it was is it ended up being a rallying point for the community. And we had a definite area to focus on and a real need. But out of that came the downtown designation. Just recently we were awarded $300,000 for streetscape and sidewalk work. And that planning and process that engaged the community and what that would look like was a real connection for everyone to come in and speak to. And going forward, it's going to slow the traffic down. It's going to present itself in a manner that people want to see. So I heard a lot of comments about that tonight. I think also there's a new pride in the community, which didn't necessarily exist. You know, we all get into our day-to-day kind of operations, and there was too much of that before. And then the opportunity to come around a project that was needed really allowed the community to connect in ways it hadn't for years. And that can be manifest itself now in new projects. You know, I heard somebody say something that we can't do it because we don't have the money. In Wilmington, in the 2 years since creating the downtown organization, that group has brought in just under $2 million, some federal, state, local, and charitable grants. Now, a large chunk of that surrounded the repairs to the flood, so you know we won't compare ourselves to that. But that's a community of 1,600 people, and West Brattleboro, you know, is comparable in size. So it can be done. You know, intention is where you need to go, I would say, is a common goal and get everybody behind it. And the money can follow. Don't say no to the project because there isn't money. If the project is worth it, get the money. And, you know, really just coming behind that. So sort of with the BDCC, I'm not alone here tonight. We've got Robin Sweetapple, who's our Operations and Redevelopment Director, Jody Clark, who's our Project Manager, and Laura Spilia, who is the Economic Development Director and Sevitz Director. So I don't want to take up all of our 10 minutes talking about that portion, but I will just say the RDC, which is what we are, which is a Regional Development Corporation for the state. There's 12 of us in the state. The BDCC is the second largest in the state in many different ways of measurement. We do a lot of different things for the community, and some of those get a lot of publicity, attracting Commonwealth, helping them develop their project, the Brooks House, other projects that Robin will speak to. But a lot of what we do is also just behind the scenes with our building operations and ownership with our tenants. So we like to think we have our finger on the pulse of the economic needs, but you know, coming out to the community like this is a great opportunity to make sure we're hearing a different version of that. So thank you for having us. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
So Robin, if you want to, and oh, I'm sorry, before Robin starts, Laura has some documents to pass out, which have the interim director's letter instead of my letter. These were left over. We really didn't want to print a whole new batch, so these were printed just before I came on, but do a good job describing our priority projects for both Sevitz and the BDCC.
There's a couple of things that, you know, as we were sitting here talking, one of the things I wanted to mention is the proposed regulations that the town of Brattleboro is doing. The designation for the Route 9 corridor in West Brattleboro is really thoughtfully planned. Rod Francis did a really great job on that. They haven't gone through the board of directors yet, but it's really worth a gander. It's up on their website, and it would kind of invigorate this area because some of the design qualifications that you've been asking about or saying that are missing, those actually come back into play. And it was something that was kind of missing since the 80s in the old regulations. So, you know, I'm always thinking about buildings. I can't help it. And Michael and John were really generous enough to take me through a lot of the kind of underutilized, for lack of a better word, buildings in West Brattleboro. And we tried to kind of think of some things that could happen as mixed use. We actually toured through here as well. We went through American Traders, and we also hit
Mattress outlet.
Yeah,
Country kitchen.
Yeah, a fascinating building. Definitely, you know, interesting square footage. It makes me kind of happy to think about something going on in there. But it's all a matter of, you know, what the new or expanding businesses could actually be able to do in those spaces, and how much money would you need to put into the building in order to make that, you know, viable option, hit all the ADA requirements if you're doing public building. I saw that. Because it's, you know, you can't get around it anymore. It's something that really needs to be addressed. And it actually helps your community. So,
And visited Town's building too. Just wanted to-
oh, yeah, we went through, that was really neat too. That's a really great building because it's set so close to the road, but inside it's like a little oasis. It's very cool.
It is.
It really is. So, you know, the other thing that I'd just like to mention is in our office at the BDCC, we have access to the Small Business Development Corporation, Deborah Boutrio. And she's integral to any small business starting out or an existing business that wants to hire someone. If you've been in business, there's absolutely no fee. You just call and try to set up an appointment. She books out pretty early. But what's beautiful about it is she helps you update your business plan. She doesn't do the work for you. So this is all your brainchild. It's definitely whatever is within your wheelhouse. So it's where you want to see yourself going, and it's free of charge. If you're a new business starting out and you're not in business, it's a one-time fee that the SBDC charges for $99, and you go to one seminar, and then after that you have unlimited access. So from business plan to trying to find financing, every step of the way, she tries to guide you. And we're also there to try to help you with, you know, where you can be, if you need expansion. We look at all of those things. So hopefully if you have questions, yes?
You mentioned the planning for West Brattleboro. What website is that? The planning commission?
It's on the Brattleboro.org.
Okay.
And it's really very beautifully done.
Yeah.
They did a lovely job. I mean, yeah.
So Laura's going to tell us a bit about Sevitz.
Hi, everybody. I also, just to kind of back up a little bit, I preceded Adam at the Mount Snow Valley Chamber, where that is where my interest in economic development started. We did some work out there with Wilmington and Dover. It's really the genesis of Sevitz. So one thing I would say to you is we have to have a lot of people pulling in the same direction in order to get things done. And so that effort at the chamber level, with our Brattleboro chamber here, with the towns, and with the regional organizations, critical. That all those things are happening at the same time. So I'd encourage you to stay involved at every level that you can. I would also say, something that I tell people all the time, don't be defeated by a lack of funding. That is always the problem. There's always going to be money. There's not always a good plan, okay? So do the work, come together, create the plan. Susan, my planner friend, look at the smile on her face. But there's always going to be money if you have a good plan. Do the work, work together, don't give up. You know, and this is, you know, a great thing that you're doing here, Michael. So my work, just to kind of quickly wrap up, I know we have other folks. My work when I came to BDCC was to get Sevitz, this regional organization, together. Let's get some scale. Let's get all of these chambers and towns and entities kind of working together to do something called a federal comprehensive economic development strategy. It's a federally prescribed process. Basically, I think, how many of you folks, before I get into this, SEDS, are aware of the SEDS and the SEDS process? All right, so and a number of you participated, and that was terrific. We have our SEDS. Our SEDS gets reviewed annually and will get completely redone every 5 years. It has some high level and some lower level action plans in it, also some vital projects in it. The great thing about there's a number of great things about having the SEDS. First of all, we're all talking to each other about what our priorities are for growing our economy. SEDS.
What is that?
That is a comprehensive economic development strategy for a region.
Okay.
You look at your assets, you look at your challenges,
Mm-hmm.
you have some goals,
Mm-hmm.
you create some plans, and you also identify some projects that will help you get towards those. And it has to be done at a regional level with a lot of, it's, as I said, federally prescribed process. How am I doing? Okay.
Not thank you.
Michael's going to give me the hook.
Michael's looking nervous.
Wrap it up, wrap it up. So just to tell you what we're working on right now in terms of SEDS implementation. We've just gone through and put out another request for vital projects to have those updated. We are working on implementing a couple of projects, including the Green Building and Services Cluster, which analysis, which Michael is also involved with, and maybe some other folks in the room, I'm not positive. We also have an accelerator proposal that Jody has one sheeter on that we're working on. We have been working with Bennington County through flood recovery work that we did with Windham Regional and Bennington Regional Planning Commissions on a Southern Vermont Sustainable Recruitment and Marketing project that we're hoping to get going this year in phase 2. And we're also doing some tri-regional impacts per the request of EDA, looking at the impacts of the job losses on the nuclear power plant. Did I miss anything big?
Workforce.
Yes.
Oh, workforce.
So one of the biggest challenges, I heard Bill talk about employees. Not only is that a problem here, it really is a problem throughout rural Vermont. Less of a problem in Chittenden County, although still a problem. This is something Valerie serves on the House Commerce Committee with me. This is something we hear every day. We've identified some strategies to mitigate it. We've done a lot of work. We're working with the schools right now, trying to understand how kids are being exposed, if they're being exposed to career opportunities in the region, working with employers. Senator Ballant is on our workforce committee. Also looking at long-term strategies for how do we supply the workforce that our employers need in order to stay, never mind grow. And so that's a big project that we've been undertaking, includes our internship. Am I done now?
You're getting the hook. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael, thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Hello, I'm Susan McMahon, as I said earlier, and besides being the Associate Director at the Windham Regional Commission, first of all, regional commissions have, we serve, there's 11 of us in the state, and we serve our communities and municipalities with kind of the technical assistance on town projects as well as on regional projects. The Route 9 Scenic Byway we help the towns with. So we cross borders. We are responsible for quite a lot of different things: transportation planning, natural resource planning, mapping. As you see there, we've got a really extensive what we call geographical information system. We've done maps for tourism before. I think we have done stuff for the chamber in the past. And we also help with land use and demographics. We have quite a bit of demographics. Our website is filled with a lot of really great information. So my response, we are located in actually downtown Brattleboro, and my responsibility at the Regional Commission, besides administrative stuff, is also community development. Now, community development kind of fits the realm, and between Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, our sister organization, we overlap. They're more traditional economic development, but when you talk about a community, you talk about its vitality, that's where we begin to overlap. And so I work with a lot of communities on not so much bringing a business in, but what do the people in the community need to make it their place? Because I'm a believer, if a community is genuine, other people are going to want to be there as well. So that's what we really do. We help with niche stuff. You know, what do you need? What, you know, maybe you're missing your general store. What do you need? I mean, we would look to them to help with helping the business, but what is the businesses that you're needing? We can help with some of that as well, but it's more kind of on the community vitality
And community development brings in so many different things. So we had wanted to for a long time. We feel that the downtowns, though they don't get enough assistance, they get some. They have some technical assistance, they have staff. We wanted to work on village revitalization. So we took advantage of the Economic Development Administration funds that we got for disaster recovery, and we did village revitalization and a little bit of downtown. We sprinkled in some of that there. And what we came to West Brattleboro because we hit the communities that were the hardest hit. West Brattleboro didn't really want to go through a whole big public process like you did with the initial West Brattleboro plan, but we had meetings with them and we developed this plan called Revitalizing Southern Vermont Villages, and we did one for West Brattleboro. And we looked at short-term, mid-term, long-term. One of the things that myself and my staff like to do is make sure we leave a community when we're working with them to have something that they can do tomorrow. Let's do. And we started actually, did that ever?
Yeah, that sort of came out of that. Yeah.
That came out of that and a whole bunch of stuff. So we are now going, even though the grant is over, we're going back to all the communities that we targeted to work on and going back and saying, what do you need? We helped target some grant opportunities. How can we continue to help you? I brought with me a couple extra copies that I didn't make. We didn't have a lot of money to make all these fancy copies, but I brought some copies in case there's some people wanting that. I also brought with me tonight, just so you get a sense of what some other communities are doing. You're not going to see the same things because each community is different, but just so you get a sense of what different communities came up with. Let me find my list to tell you what else. The other thing that we're doing, at the end of that revitalization work, we had kind of a celebration to kind of start kind of peer-to-peer, say that slowly, trainings. You can learn a lot from the other communities that are doing some really great stuff. Putney Village had its own issues. There's a lot to learn there, how they lost a general store, got it back. Algiers Village, they brought in housing. So I feel like there's a lot to learn from each other. We want to do it twice a year at least. We're getting ready. Bill Colvin, who's Bennington Regional Commission, and myself are going to continue doing this work. And it looks like I'm going to have a meeting soon to schedule it, but it looks like sometime in April we'll be having one of these peer-to-peer trainings to learn from each other. And we'll let Michael know, and he can let the West Brattleboro Association know. And I believe you went to the celebration out in...
No, I didn't get to that.
Oh, you didn't get to that. Oh, that's right, you had a meeting that night. We also, because we gathered such great information, we wanted to kind of make sure it was there for people. And we started a very, very, very basic website, but it's really easy to look around, called Strengthening Southern Vermont. I really recommend it. It has some great resources. We keep on growing it as we find stuff. So again, Strengthening Southern Vermont. We also give communities assistance to communities when they're going through village center designation. You already have it. I know it's up soon, and I know your town is going to work with you on that. We also have some designers on staff, and we can give limited design assistance. But one of the things when you have a lot of professional staff in a town as Brattleboro, I know we look to them to lead, and we just kind of come in behind where they like us to help them. So the other program, is our Brownfields program. Again, we do a lot there, but I'm just thinking what the businesses might want and need assistance with. We've been doing this since 2000, and when you're talking about a village or a downtown, you've had a lot of different industries or gas stations. We're helping with the farmers market gas station. And so this is not to say that these sites shouldn't be built on. We want to see villages and downtowns stay nice and compact, and so we have this program that we can come in and do the assessment work, which is kind of identifying what's there. And we also have a revolving loan fund that we can give grants to nonprofits and very low interest loans to businesses. And it's a very popular program, and we've been very successful. We've brought in to date about $3.5 million in grants and loans to the region, and we're getting ready to give a grant to the farmers market for their cleanup. So getting close to making, oops, somebody's from the farmers market here. Yeah, oh, he has to leave. We're getting close to making that. So I put the brochure in the back, and you can see it's, again, Brattleboro has been really, really active in brownfields. We encourage, because there's only so much money to go around, we encourage Brattleboro to actually apply for their own assessment program. So we figure we can get more money in to help with that work. Hopefully, we both get money, because we both put in an application recently. The other thing that we do a lot of is we can kind of give technical assistance about grants. We don't normally write the grants, but we kind of coach you on grant writing. We can review it. Occasionally we can be talked into writing it, but it has to be a really regionally important grant.
You've got to talk.
I know. I'm talking to these people, not you. But one of the things, and we also get very much involved in project implementation assistance, finishing up in Saxon's River, I'm just giving some examples. Main Street Arts wanted to add accessibility, so build an addition. We helped them with, it was a brownfield site, a dry cleaner, a long time ago. We also managed their community development block grant. So we have some ability on our staff to help with that type of stuff. I think, yeah, we're here to serve the towns and by extension the villages and people.
Thank you, Susan.
I'm Peter Elwell, I'm your town manager. I'm newly back to Brattleboro. Actually, when I was listening to Adam say that he almost finished using that term new, I guess I'm about a month behind you, so when you're done, yeah, let me know. About a month after that, I'll stop saying that I'm the new town manager here in town. But I grew up here. I'm really happy to be back. Some of what those of you who are long-timers are saying about the sense of community, what you remember, what you'd like to help recreate and also create new, you know, so that it's a 21st century version rather than a 1970s version. You know, I think there's all kinds of opportunity for those things to happen here, and it's exciting to me to listen to the others on the panel that, you know, we have some overlapping jurisdictions, some overlapping ability to help, but we do different things too. We have different missions in the region and in the community. So I think the really great thing about that is, you know, we want to work together to help you, to help downtown, to help others around us so that Brattleboro prospers and is vital, and the broader region prospers and remains vital. So that's what together we're all about. Tonight, I've got two programs, one of which I'm not sure is going to be relevant to you, but I want to mention it anyway, just in case it's useful to somebody in the room, and then the other one I think might be very useful to many of you. So I'll start with the one that probably has broader application. There's a small business assistance program that the town operates in. You heard Select Board Member Dave Scholes mention it before he had to leave, that we are looking at how much money we might be able to make available from what has been a revolving loan fund to be direct grant funds. But in the meantime, what has been very successful for some of the local businesses and is available to any of you is the opportunity to borrow at a low interest rate, 3%, from the town, money that can help you either relocate here so that you're able to stay in Brattleboro, but maybe in a different location that's better for you and your business, expand, do something with your facilities. There's all kinds of different purposes it can be used for. There is an application process for this, and the resource in the Municipal Center, Kim Ellison, our grants manager, is really good at helping you define how you can best apply for the funds in a way that is most likely to succeed in receiving the money. So I've got a handout that has the basic information on it, and I would strongly suggest that you talk to Kim. There's a $50 application fee, but you don't pay a penny to talk to Kim. And then if the conversation causes you to have some optimism that you think you're going to qualify for a loan through the program, then she can help you prepare the formal application and file it. see you through the process. So start circulating those. And the one other thing, I don't know, is there anybody here who is a residential landlord? Okay. I won't waste your time with all the details then, except to say
they're for sale.
We also have a program that provides assistance to residential landlords to upgrade the properties. And this is obviously good for the community, broadly defined. It's very good for the tenants in those buildings. And it increases the value of the real estate that's owned and being managed by the landlords. So it's an opportunity. It may not be directly relevant here to those of you in the room, but for the broader association and the work that you do and the communication you have with your neighbors, please keep that in mind too, because we can be helpful through that program.
Can you pass that around? We're
Sure,
seasonal.
absolutely.
So I want to thank all the entities that are up here for coming tonight and really doing a good job of explaining what they're about. The couple of legislators in the audience, do you want to say anything, or are you just here to listen completely, or what's your preference?
I'll just say something briefly. Valerie, go ahead first. Oh, you were here before me. You were here on time.
Valerie's my neighbor. She can go first.
Oh, okay. I just have one idea that I just thought was kind of cool. Laura and I went on a field trip with the Commerce Committee recently, and we went to the place where Simon Pierce is, and Park Food, and this Artisan Park. Yeah, and I don't know the particulars about how they got it going, but part of the light bulb went off my head when you said that, it would be great if people had a real reason to stop here. And what this Artisan Park is it? Yeah. Hartford, Windsor. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, if you haven't been there, I just think it's an amazing idea. The gentleman who kind of pulled it together said that it was the only one of its kind in the state. But what it is it's basically a place to both sample products and where products are produced. And I thought actually you, Christian, because what a bummer that you can't.
I actually looked there.
Well, but I mean that you can't do that here because that's exactly the kind of.
All we got to do is harden that, make it channelize the brook a little bit.
Oh,
raise the ground.
I just wanted to throw the idea out there. What it is, there's a Harpoon Brewery. They brew there, plus they have a restaurant. There's Silo, it's a distillery. They brew there, plus they have a tasting room and sell products. Simon Pierce, you can watch, glass being blown and, also buy their, products. Some of them are seconds. And a number of others. And it's just a really amazing, if we could do something like that here, like this building, it would be kind of primo for it. And then, we could maybe even have some offshoots and some other little, but I just think, so I just wanted to throw that idea out there because, that we have this building that's empty and maybe we would really at least want to target or, kind of woo a business that had something that they could both produce, but that would be a bit of a draw, as this is the doorway to, part of the state. So I just wanted to, bring that up. And also, as members of the Commerce Committee, the state is trying with its very meager resources to do some things with entrepreneurial loans and lending and an domestic export program that helps vendors like the Robs maybe, promote their products at the Biggie. And we have some things going on that the Commerce is working on a bill that basically tries to foster some opportunities for businesses to grow and that sort of thing. So you can check on the Vermont Agency of Commerce and Community Development's website. We'll keep you posted with regard to developments. But we are trying to put together some money to really promote business and entrepreneurial businesses. Actually, we are really hoping that even in a terrible business year, we can come up with 15% of the increase in the sales and rooms tax to be used for a marketing program that would basically market Vermont not just as a great tourist venue. You know, we've got that pretty well established, although we have to keep beating that drum, but also as a great place to live and do business and found a business, because we have this feeling, our history is fabulous and we want to retain that, but we don't want people to just think of this as a state to you know, play and recreate. We want people to come here. We want young people, we're losing our young people, to come here to found business and that sort of thing. So if we can basically keep in the budget the 15% increase in the 2016 budget of the rooms and meals tax, we could position the state more strongly to attract businesses and to basically, and you know, we could dovetail that maybe with our tourism and marketing budget. So, you know, we're really trying on the state level. We have a lot of challenges this year, but, and I don't think the payroll tax is going to go through. You can ask these guys, but I mean, so far, it's not looking good.
Becca?
Yeah, just briefly, I'm very short, so I'll just say Senator Mullen calls me the little senator, which Laura has picked up on. Okay. So before I ran for Senate, I was in education for a long time and then did workforce development stuff with CEVEDS. And so I am keenly interested in the workforce issues we have in Vermont, and especially here in southern Vermont. By just about every metric, southern Vermont, Windham County, Bennington County is struggling much more than other regions of the state. And so I don't want to take too much time, but I want to say it's exciting that we have Laura and Valerie on commerce on the House side. I'm on the counterpart on the Senate side. We've got a very dynamic young House member in from the Bennington area, Kaya Morris, who was just elected, who's also talking about these issues. So there's a lot happening in the State House around getting Bennington and Windham counties together. I know, I see Susan shaking her head. We're talking about, you know, how do we get the RDCs more involved in this conversation. But we're at an exciting time because economic development is being talked about in a new way in Montpelier. And it's very exciting. And I didn't want to forget to mention, I don't know if anyone mentioned the pitch, Lieutenant Governors. So the Lieutenant Governor is going to be down here. I know, Jody, you've been in touch with their office. March 9th, Lieutenant Governor will be down here giving an economic development it's called the roadshow pitch, and it is a great opportunity to come out and hear ideas about economic development for this area. So I would encourage you 4 to 6.
4 to 6, Vernon Elementary School.
Okay, March 9th, is that right?
March 9th.
It's a Monday.
Accepting pitches.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, so maybe I'll just hand it over to Jody.
Great pitch. Yeah. So we are looking for ideas to grow economic development on a statewide level. So it's really about what are some ideas that we have that can move forward and be suggested to the legislature that really are going to be all-encompassing action things, not just things for just a small area, but really big picture ideas that you have. So there's only going to be enough time for 15. So we really would like to have folks contact us, me in particular, to give your ideas written form. And if there is any that are duplicative, we will ask if one person who is representing that idea over perhaps a group to represent that group for that one idea will make the pitch. So we need ideas coming to us relatively quickly since it is coming up on March 9th. I believe the deadline that I sent out was on the 2nd, so we have a week. Email me, I have cards, jclark@brattleborodevelopment.com.
And we are hoping to have our partners.
Yes.
So this literally was as we were pulling out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Putting these details together. So
Yes.
everyone can be looking for that. We're sending it to the chambers, the towns, really looking to get some good, vibrant pitches. Check it out online. If you're interested, you can see what other regions have done, what happened in Montpelier with those pitches. And many of these are now, and Becca, maybe you can speak to that, are part of current legislation, yeah?
Yes, so the original pitch that the Lieutenant Governor did in the first week of the session, it's a packed room at the Capitol Plaza across from the State House, and several of those suggestions are already in the legislative process and being drafted into bill. So This is action oriented.
Yeah, we have
This
all
is not
hands on
being
deck.
lazy.
We want it on Friday.
So,
Well, I just checking news around, I see on Vermont Digger, when you look at the governor's schedule, he's coming to Brattleboro on Friday?
Yes, he's gonna be down at the, well, I can speak, I don't know if these guys have something else. He's gonna be down at the Hermit Thrush Brewery on, what day is that, Friday?
Friday.
I can't spill the beans, but they have some exciting news that hopefully will.
They haven't let me know, so I guess it's not exciting news.
Well,
There's always brewery legislation, and then distilleries bring anything up, it's like, shut up, there's breweries!
I can mention one thing though, and one of the things, we've got, and we were talking about like doing, like putting different businesses or like businesses together, and one of the things that, and I don't know if we're all thinking this way, but we have like a niche business here is spirits and breweries. You know, beer, we've got, not only, we got Saxon's River, we've got Whetstone, we've got McNeil's, and we've got Hermit Thrush. So if we can think,
Caps down from Marlboro.
yeah, if we can think of our area as like, let's make this a destination, and this is a, you know, these are like businesses that if you market them all together, it's a destination. You know, come and do samples.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's whatever, when one business succeeds, you know, these guys succeed, the other ones grow. So it's not just putting them in the same building, it's putting them in the same area.
Yeah. I just want to follow up on that. But, you know, the chamber used to have that great Governor's Day.
We're working on it with the governor to come down.
Maybe others don't know what this Governor's Day did.
Yeah, what the governor does is, we're working with him on this, to, you know, hopefully get him to come, well, he's agreed to come down and do a lunch for the chamber. And then what we want him to do is, whether we have businesses come and talk to him or we have him go out and talk to businesses so that he can get a sense of what's going on. And he's been very receptive. You know, the chamber has done been dealing with a lot with the governor's office, and I can tell you he's very, very on track on helping Windham County. And you know, I can say that from somebody who calls him up all the time. You know, he calls the governor's office and the Agency of Commerce and Community Development. There's a huge focus on his part that we exist, and I think, you know, we remind him, but he doesn't need to be reminded because he's from down here. So we keep pushing it.
Okay, just a few more details. By the way, Jody's new West Brattleboro resident. Welcome to
Greenleaf Street.
The report that Susan mentioned is on the westbrattleboro.org website, so if you want to go there, you can find it. And originally we were thinking about doing next steps, but obviously in 5 minutes that wouldn't make sense. But what I suggest is that the West Brattleboro Association get together with some of the entities up here and sort of think about what next steps make sense. And heard some ideas tonight, Doug's idea about peer support with different industries, but also the empty buildings here, or the buildings that are for sale. So that's what I suggest we do, and then we'll come back to the community. And we do have at least 4 members of the West Brattleboro Association board here: Doug, Adam, Helen, myself, and Tom, 5, and board member emeritus and Nancy. So, if the people up here could give the people in the audience a round of applause and vice versa, I think that'd be great.